with our busy schedule, sometimes we can't find a lot of time to play a full role playing game, or even to find a gaming group. I mean, we have our normal Sunday D&D group, but every now and then we have to call out on that. And sometimes we just want to play a quick game with just me and Gothy together, or just role play by myself. Which leads me to tell you about this game system here. It's called Labyrinth Adventures. You don't need a game master. It's a role playing game system. So I'm not going to be able to go completely everything into the book and the adventure, but I'll show you a quick preview of it, go over a little bit of it. Like I said, it's called Labyrinth Adventures. It's coming to Kickstarter soon. Let's check it out. Okay, here we have the Labyrinth Rulebook, 2nd edition, right here. We've got my character sheet. We're going to roll up a Druid for the quest, because maybe one of the expansion quests I got here is a Dead Awakening, which, right on the title page, it says, a little note by Chris Zimmerman, who created the game. So, but before we get started, I want to give you fair warning right now, protect your Druid at all costs. So for this adventure, you all gotta have a Druid. But we'll get into that a little bit later. So we're gonna go ahead and take a look at the rulebook and character creation, and then how you can play, because this game can be played solo, or it can be played with up to 4 characters with no game master needed, or dungeon master, if you will. Right away, title page, you got your table of contents right here, and it jumps right into creating a character, and a little welcome to Labyrinth explanation page right there. But just sort of show you, you got the creating a character. We'll go through this in a minute, and right afterwards, you've got blank character sheets that you can photocopy for your character right there. I made a copy of all of them for my group right here. You've got Druid, you got Rogue, you got Warrior, you got Wizard, and as it tells you right here on the character race and gender in the world, that humans are the most common in the world. So assume to play human. It doesn't matter with racial abilities or anything like that, like it does in a normal role playing game. And your gender really doesn't matter either in the game. It's just your class that matters. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at creating a character. So it's got a little bit of terminologies here and definitions, like your name. Obviously make some kind of name. We're gonna put some Logan Chops right here. Hey, Logan Chops. It's the name of a wonderful Druid going on here. Now your strength, it says to go ahead and roll 3d6, or 3 6-sided dice actually. It says it's abbreviated as 3d6, then there's your combined total of strength. But also you've got these roll-up options down here, where it says you can roll 4d6, and then go ahead and take the highest of the 3 dice, and the same with your dexterity also. Or you can roll 3d6 plus 1, roll it twice, and you can either choose to place it in your strength or your dex. And if your combined strength and dex is 27 or less, you can choose to re-roll for your character. So let's go ahead and roll those up real quick. I'm going to go ahead and use the 46 option. I like having that extra dice right there. So I got a stack of my 6-sided dice right there. So I got 46. Let's go ahead and roll those up. Let's see if I drop the lowest. Let's see, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 right there for my strength. Okay, and let's go ahead and roll my dexterity right here. So you drop that 1 right there, and I've got a total of 13, which, as we can see, is only 23. So I'm going to go ahead and choose to re-roll. Let's go ahead and erase these and see if we can get a higher number going on right now. Oh, gotta roll that extra 1 right there. Okay, I'll drop that 1. Let's see, that's a 16. That's a better score for strength, which I'm not too sure is how important it is to a Druid, but I know dexterity is what you majorly use for combat and for getting hit and having to roll. So let's go ahead and check this, roll these. Let's go ahead and drop that 1. Let's see, this total I have 14, which with the 16 gives me a total of 30. So those work right there. For my scores for strength and dex. Now it's got a mod dex right here. It's your modified dexterity. It's usually equal to your dexterity, unless you happen to suffer some penalties or something, and your modified dexterity can never exceed your dexterity. So right now we're going to go ahead and put it at 14, because that will change depending on the table we have later on. we're going to say we're going to roll up health points. We roll 3d6 and add 1. Let's go ahead and get my health going on here. Let's see, 6, 7, 8. So my health is only 8, which is it's okay. And then see, DM on the sheet right there is your damage. You total up how much damage you've taken during your turn. I get over there. Oh, I'm sorry, it's not 8, it's 9. Actually, I forgot to add that 1. That makes it even better. Okay, I've got 9 hit points, which isn't the best for 3d6. It's only about half of what I could get. Armor items. You list your armor items right there. Whatever you got, all magical and non-magical. Your AT is your armor total. So it's a combined total of all the armor that you are wearing, which you'll end up subtracting from any damage that you take during the game. So, like it's sort of for example, if you have an armor total of 7 and you take 9 damage, you'll subtract the 7. It'll stop 7 points of damage. You'll still take 2 damage because 9 minus 7 is 2. So you'd only take 2 damage. Subtract that there. You got a spot for your food because food reduces 1d6 damage to you whenever you consume it. Spot for keys because keys are used to unlock locked doors. You got a spot for your equipment. You can list it there. Your item max, because your character has a maximum number of items that they can carry. Your item weight, because every piece of item you have or weapon and everything has a certain amount of weight. Your weight can never exceed your item max, and we'll get to that on the next section. And you got a spot for your gold pieces. Where's gold pieces? Right there. And your experience right there. And how this handles is every gold piece you get is 1 experience. And you'll end up spending gold pieces, but your experience total will always stay the same, and that's how you total up different levels and different stuff for your character. Your experience will never go away, but you'll spend gold pieces. Since I'm a druid, I got a spot for spells. I automatically start off with heal and banish, and we'll see what else I get on the next page. And I got a little spot for any notes I want to make for my character. So let's go ahead and get over here to the next section for the character classes. And it tells you what you start with as your class. So we're going to be focusing on the druid section down here. It says I'm able to power or channel the powers of nature and beyond. While they're primarily trained in the art of healing, they also know some magic, how to fight, and are on continuous missions to rid the world of undead. Awesome. Sounds more like I'm a cleric than a druid, but it works. It's a good thing. I like playing clerics in role-playing games. We're able to read scrolls, and it says we start with a mace, which does 1d6 damage. So I'm going to go ahead and put that down here in my equipment. Mace, which does 1d6 damage. Like there. We have a large shield as a way of armor right there, and it says we got an armor value of 2. So I'll go ahead and put that down underneath my armor. Large shield. Don't mind my writing. So it's got an armor value of, like I said, 2. And it also gives me a -1 to my modified dexterity, which we'll handle in a minute. I'm still going to note that down here. -1 to mod dx. And we know 8 spells, as well as heal and banish. So I've got 8 extra spells right now. I'll just note that down over here. 8 spells. And that's not counting the heal and the banish that are already on my sheet that I get. It also says I start with 1 potion of resurrection. So I'm going to put that down here in my equipment. 1 potion of resurrection. Says my armor proficiencies, I can only use leather and chainmail only, and small and large shields. So we'll go ahead and make that that down here in my notes section. Leather. That way I don't have to keep referring back to it in the book. Leather, chainmail only, and then also small. I'll just abbreviate it. Small and large shields. And for weapon proficiency, it says mace and flails only. So I'll make note of that also. Mace and flails only. And since it's a photocopied sheet, you know, there's always room for everything on the back. You can make plenty of extra notes right there. So I've got my basic character sheet right here, but I don't have the item weight or the item max right there. That's figured out later on. And also my my attack total, or armor total, armor total, and anything else like that. We can find that information over here as we go along after the character sheets. And this really goes into, you got your attribute modifier table right here. So you see I've got a strength of 16, which if we look on the sheet right there, 16, 17 is normal. My item max right here is 100. So we'll go ahead and put that over there, 100. And normally you have a sheet right here that says break down locked doors, which if you're, it has a little star asterisk there, which says it's for warriors only. So I don't have to worry about that. And also, you got the double stars here for +1 DM with weapon. This modifier does not apply to bows. Well, we don't have to worry about that. I'm not using a bow, and I don't have that number right there. Now, for your modified dexterity is a little tricky kind of to figure out, but not too much. You got a little explanation down here about penalties and bonuses. That tells you that, you know, your turns, because your dexterity tells you your turn modifier during rounds and how they go. Because you can either go 1 round per turn or 1.5 rounds, 2 rounds, and it's a little weird during combat. But there's a little turns per round explanation over here on the next page of how it does. So if your modified dexterity tells you take 1.5 turns per round, it says you take 3 turns every 2 rounds. So you take 1 turn the first round, and then the next time around you would take 2 turns the next one, and then back to 1. So you get extra attacks or extra things you can do because you're quicker, because your modified dexterity is higher. So also your armor value, like I said here, my large shield right there gives me -1 to my modified dexterity. So how you do this is you look at your sheet. My dexterity is 14. So you look at it's normal right there. I'd only get 1 turn per round. But since my shield gives me a -1, it would make it 13. We look at that, and it's still basically the same. It's a 13 for wearing that. So we're going to change my modified dex to a 13. To a 13 right there. And my armor value is a 2. So my armor total right here will be 2, because nothing is changing that right now. I could have some bonuses or different things like that. But we still don't have my items weight. It didn't tell me anything about that. This book is set out in pretty good order, because it tells you how to make your character, and then it has all the items and different stuff in the back. You can see, flip to the back real quick. It's got your Beastopedia back here for your adventures. So it's got all your basic creatures that you have here. And any special creatures for the adventure, like the Dead Awakening adventure has different stuff. They're all in the adventure. So you don't have to go looking too far for stuff. It's got parts for level travel, because you map out your own stuff as it goes. And it does this by, it's got a little example of stuff, but having you roll as you go along during the adventure. And you're going to make your own sheet, because it actually has the sheets that you can copy down right here. And as you can see, I made my own little sheet right there. I photocopied it. And you can cut it out in case you have to go off the map and connect them together. You see that, and it shows like here when you're mapping, you roll 2d6 to find the passage. You see if there's any traps, what the room size is, and you can make the room any size. Like it says, examples of a 4-square room. You can make the room the normal square. You can make it kind of like a block like that, like you have in Tetris, or the L-shaped block like that in Tetris. So it's got a little mapping example. You can see this room right here is a 7-square room right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You know, you make them any shape you want. You roll for exit doors when you get into the room to see how many exits are out of that room, and you can place the doors anywhere you'd like. And you roll for your occupancy, what's in there, and it shows you the different stuff you get when you roll 2d6. You can roll the treasure in there, or it's a beast and treasure, different stuff like that, or it could be empty. So basically, you're plotting your stuff out, and you're doing it. And you can actually do your own adventure with just this book without actually buying any of the expansions, even though you don't get the backstory and different stuff like that, like you do in a normal role playing game. You can just roll up a passage with monsters and have your guys go through it and just be defeating stuff and killing stuff and leveling up, getting items just on this alone, and just map it out on your sheet as you go and make up the story in your head of what you're doing. You know, or you can get the, like I said, this has got the Dead Awakening quest right here, which basically handles you're going up against a lot of undead. We'll look at this in a second, because I still want to finish my character sheet. So do this. So I'm going to look through here. This goes more in depth, just to show you afterwards about passages and different stuff like that, and handling locked doors and traps with rogues, and how you get XP and split it up. It goes into combat afterwards about doing your different attack order and stuff like that. Basically, it's whoever has the, if I remember correctly, it's the lowest modified dexterity. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. It's the highest one assigned to slot 4, and it goes down like that. It goes from highest number down to lowest number for modified dexterity. And about attacking, whenever you make attack rolls, you roll 3d6. And you're trying to get your number or less to be able to attack the monster for your modified dexterity. So, like, see if I've got a 13 right here. Let's say I'm trying to hit something. I'd roll with 3d6. Let's see, I've got 12, 13, 14, 15. Oh, it's too high. I didn't hit the monster's modified dexterity. So, if it was 15 or lower, I didn't hit it. You're trying to get lower than their dexterity. It goes through a lot of different examples. It's a really well put together game for handling stuff. Oh, we got spells too. I didn't pick out my spells, which I'm not really going to do. But it's got the wizard spells, druid spells. It tells me to start with heal and banish. Which says both spells can be used 5 times during each level. I'm on first level right now, and then I get 8 spells from list below. But each spell can only be used once, so I might want to take multiple spells. Like if I look at the flash of light spell here that blinds a beast, I might want to take 2 of those as my 8 spells. But I start off with 5 of heal and 5 of banish that I can use right off the bat, and then take some of these other ones here. But I'm not gonna pick my spells now. I want to finish this off with my item weight. It tells you about leveling up, powering up when you level up, and different stuff. I'm trying to get all the way. Did I skip it? No, did I skip it? I don't know. I'm right back here. So it's in the rewards and perils section. It tells you all the different stuff, because this leads you to the treasure table from when you're rolling for your rooms and different stuff like that. It tells you check treasure tables, check beast tables, stuff like that. Your treasure table is all the way back here before your Beastopedia. So weapons, armor, everything. And you can get all your items, weight, and everything back here. So let's go ahead and see. I've got a, what am I using? A mace right here. Shows mace, does 1d6 damage. Its item weight is 7. So I'm going to make that little note there. I'm going to put a little W7 next to it for the weight there. What else am I carrying? I have a large shield. So let's go ahead and check on the armor table right here. Large shield, so the value is 2 like I already knew. But the item weight is 20. So my weight for this, weight for my shield is 20 right there. But I'm also carrying around a potion of resurrection. And you see potion table right here. It just says potions, but it doesn't say how much there is. But in the little description up here, so 1 potion equals 1 item weight. So that potion's weight is 1. And that's everything that I'm carrying right there. So 20 plus 7 plus 1 is 28. So I'm carrying 28 the worth of weight of items. And I can carry 100 max. I've got no damage, no gold, no XP starting out, no food. No keys, which is kind of hard. I'm going to have to get somebody else to help me out here, especially if I come across some locked doors. I'm not a rogue, so I can't really handle those. But this is as the finish with our character here. I'll show you a little bit of the beasts in the back. Look, it has everything laid out. Let's see. Let's say I was going against the giant serpent right here. You see, it's armor total right here 0. Its dexterity is 11. It's got 16 hit points. So let's say I was trying to hit the monster here. I would take the 3d6, and I'd be trying to get 11 or below to be able to hit this giant serpent. Let's go ahead and roll that right there. Let's see, I've got 8, 9 right there. So I'd actually hit it if I was facing off this giant serpent. I hit it with my roll of 9 there. And so I would be able to do some damage. So my mace does 1d6 damage. Let's go ahead and take 2 of these away. So I take my mace, do the damage for the mace. See, I roll 3 damage. I subtract its armor total right there, which is 0, so it takes all 3 damage. And I subtract that from the 16 hit points. So now that this giant serpent right here is at 13 hit points. And then it could attack me back doing the same thing. It's trying to hit my modified dexterity right here, 13 or lower to be able to hit me. Let's see if this thing can hit me right here. Let's see. Oh, yeah. It rolled a 6. So, yeah, it hits me, and it says it does 1d6 damage for a bite and 1d6 venom damage. And it's got its range and different description of it. So that's basically how combat is handled with the book. So let's go ahead and take a look at the Dead Awakening quest here. And we're not going to get too far into it because it's a lot of descriptive text as we go along. And like it's like Chris gives us, says, protect your druid at all costs. So whoever's playing with me needs to make sure that I don't die, or I need to make sure I don't die. Use some of those healing spells I have on myself. So it says a lot of backstory, and I'm not going to read through it all, but it tells you as you're going in. It fleshes out the story a lot. Now, I talked to Chris, and that's a lot of what he's going to be spending the money for the Kickstarter on, is to be able to get more graphics done, to be able to help hire some people in to help him write and flesh out the world that he has going on here for Labyrinth Adventures, and help him write it, because he's been doing a lot of it himself. But to get somebody else to help him write and flesh out this world, and get more quests and more adventures for everybody for this game system. And you see, it's got a whole backstory of everything just leading into the first quest. It really is immersive and gets you in there. And then it has, you start off level 1, the Haunted Forest, and it tells you what you're actually looking for, what your objective is. And as you can see, it starts out with the actual game stuff here. As when mapping through the Haunted Forest, you may start by choosing any path opening located at the bottom of the map. It's like, okay, well, my map's empty. What does that mean? Any path that's open at the bottom. If you actually look in the back of the book, it has maps for each quest, and it's got pages, also empty pages, so you can make notes about it. You see, this is for like level 5. So we're on level 1. We want to look over here. So you see level 1, the Haunted Forest. And you make copy of this map if you don't want to draw in your book. And you see the start down here. You see there's all level paths because you're starting off in a forest, and each of these blocks represents a tree. So you're going through. You can map over here, and you see the O right here. The O is your objective. Legend, O equals objective, and that's where you're trying to get to as you're mapping through. And small terrain travel is in effect, so you use this small terrain table for where you're going rather than using the passageways and everything that are in the rulebook for the dungeons that you're traveling through the forest. And you see you roll 2d6. On a 2, 3, 11, or 10, 11, or 12, you get to clearing. So it's just going to be an open space. So when you come to a clearing, you roll for clearing size, which makes the room size 2d6. And you make it however you want to plan those out. So if I rolled it and I got an 11, I try to make a 11 square space for the clearing. And then you roll, use the door tables to roll 1d6. For the number of doors is the number of clearing exits. So you're not going to make doors, it's just going to be openings. You can place them wherever. So you look in this book for the door table and use that for figuring out exits. And it says, it's much like dungeon level mapping, except there's no need to bother for traps since there aren't any doors or anything like that. And you just keep going, and instead of rolling for different monsters, you're going to roll for the room occupancy right there in the Haunted Forest. You roll a d6, and you're going to encounter a lot of ghosts. A 1 through 4 on a d6 is 1 ghost. A 5 is 2 ghosts. 6, you get 3 ghosts. And it has the stats down there and the attack for the ghost right there. And then when you reach the objective, finally, after traveling through that whole forest, it gives you a lot of story going on about what happens when you reach it before you get to the. It even tells you power ups, and it's where you power up or level up or different stuff. Because each ghost, even though they don't there's no treasure rolls on the force, all the ghosts drop 1d6. And since you pass the first level when you get through that objective, the next quest will be level 2. And you can see there's a lot of story, a lot of stuff in here. And you get to the Korgothian city runes right here for level 2. So it's just a quick look at Labyrinth. This is the quest for Labyrinth, Dead Awakening, and the rule book. There's my Druid. We're going to see how he does, and maybe I'll give you guys an update later on our Facebook page about how the Druid Logan Chops is doing in the adventure. I might actually change that name. That's kind of a generic name. Yeah. But let's go ahead and get to the review. So the good about Labyrinth Adventures is you're able to pick it up and just play either by yourself or with a group of up to 3 other players. It's really fun. It's really simple. Just goes off of D6s. You know, you don't actually need one of the adventure books like the Dead Awakening quest book here. You can just go through, making your own map by the roll of a dice, telling you which way to go, and roll for monsters. Throw it up there. It's really good if you're not looking for a full scenario. There's no real bad. You know, it's pretty good. You know, just to be able to play by yourself or with a group of friends if you have them. It's coming to Kickstarter for some additional funds to run another print run of it, and hopefully get some new adventures made. It's kind of hard. The gentleman that's making it himself, trying to handle it all himself. He wants to hire some new writers to help him flesh out the world and different campaigns and everything. So go check it out on Kickstarter. It'll be coming soon, and we'll hope you join us next time on Logan Chops Reviews. Thanks for watching.